rather, that they will be completely overrun by fire. They will be surrounded by all sides in fire, and this illustrates the worst kind of humiliation, because what other result other than humiliation can there be if they themselves are doing the act? Because tasla doesn't mean they will be thrown, it means they will throw themselves. They will go in themselves, cast themselves in. Now think about that. If there's a fire or anything being hurled towards your body, what's the natural instinct of the human being? What do they protect first? You protect your face. You put your arm out, immediately it comes out. There's a natural instinct to guard your face. And Allah describes in this surah, what are they throwing into the fire willingly? Willingly first. What are they chucking in first? Their face. Tasla, that ta illustrates the face is going into the fire. Subhanallah. Tasla naran hamiyah. Let's see. Now, hamiyah here, of course, is that it's scorching fire. But the other is it's got some sort of a preventative feature. It prevents your skin from burning off. Because if it burnt off, the pain would be over. But it prevents it from burning off. It prevents you from getting any rest. It prevents you from getting any breaks, any stop in the pain, subhanallah. All of this by Allah Azza wa Jal giving the adjective hamiyah, naran hamiyah. Allahumma la taj'alna min ashab an-nar. These faces will be given to drink. Now again, people are not being described, their faces are being described. We should understand the tone of the surah. Why the faces are being highlighted? Expressions, emotions, dignity, right? Arrogance, humility, all of these things are manifest where in a human being? You can't tell if I'm arrogant or not from my hands. Where do you tell it from? My face. The way the facial expressions, the body language, most of it which is captured on the face. Fear is captured on the face. Anger is captured on the face. Now those same faces that used to consume the haram, they used to consume the haram. Now as a result, what are they going to get in the akhirah? Tusqa, those faces will be given to drink. And literally, siqaya in Arabic is to give somebody to drink in their mouth. Meaning literally they open their mouth and you pour it in it. Right? This is siqaya. Usually it's done for animals, but it can also be done for people. Right? That you just pour the water out and they're drinking like that. Right? Now, what this illustrates is, first of all, they went into this scorching fire. There's absolutely no relief. So now they're desperate. They got to find relief somewhere. So the relief from fire naturally comes from where? From water. So Allah Azza wa Jalla describes ayn. They will be given to drink from a spring. From ayn is a spring. And ayn, interestingly, in Arabic, is only used for beautiful and good things. Because the Arab, of course, they're in the desert, so one of the most valuable things to them, a fantasy to them, is to see a water spring, a waterfall, water gushing out. And this is the word ayn. Ayn is also used for the eye, because it sheds a tear. So water comes out and it looks like it's moist all the time, and that's why the word ayn is also used for the eye. Anything that looks really good to the eye, they would also call ayn. Sometimes in Arabic poetry, they'd call a beautiful horse ayn. The Quran calls hurun ayn because they're beautiful to look at. Ayn is used, right? So the word ayn usually has a very positive meaning. But here, so they're going to be given to drink from ayn, so you figure, okay, now at least they get some relief. You boil water or any liquid, and the time has come where it's reached the final boiling point, where it's actually bubbling up, right? And it's intense in its bubbling. The final time of boiling. That's the time that it becomes aniyah. So the spring is gushing out water, but it only starts gushing when it's reaching the most intense part of the heat. And where is this water coming? Right onto their faces. Their faces are being made to consume. Tusqa min aynin aniyah. Subhanallah. What punishment after punishment. And Allah describes that horrendous punishment, that water is inside their stomach and it starts frothing up. So it adds to the torture even within their bodies when they drink that water. May Allah protect us again from the tortures on them. If you read tasqa, it means they are so desperate from the fire that they themselves go into the water and they try to drink even though it's bubbling hot. Even they themselves go. That's what that little change, except the only thing they will eat from is min dariyah. Now the word min is really important too. From out of this thing Allah calls dariyah. Dariyah in Arabic literature is two things. One, it's used for raw seaweed, like the nasty seaweed that pulls up on the shore, right? That animals don't even like to eat, and human beings for certain wouldn't want to eat unless it's somehow processed or whatever. The other is the word dariyah is used for a thorny kind of plant in the Arab terrain called shibriq. And this plant has a lot of very sharp, long thorns. And animals usually try to graze, but they don't graze near it because when they try to eat it, it hits them in their face. It pokes them in their face and causes them to bleed. So it's poisonous and thorny and itchy, and the last thing the animal would want to do is eat from it. The only animal that can try and eat from it is the camel. And that will become important as we continue our study of the surah. The camel, they have, thicker lips, and they can consume and they can chew on even tough and rough things. And this is part of the amazing, miracle of the camel, that it can survive in a place like the desert. For a goat or for a cow, you have to provide them food. But even a poor man could own a camel because he doesn't have to provide food. It can go eat any shrubs or anything, it can survive. Anyhow, Allah says they will not have any kind of food except this dariya. There are three kinds of food that Allah mentions in the Quran in the hellfire. There's zaqum, there's ghislin, and then there is this word, dariya. Most ulama comment that dariya is the general word for all the things underneath. So zaqum is a kind of dariya, and ghislin is a kind of dariya. So dariya is the most comprehensive term. Now the word dariya, again, this thorny food, Allah did not say لَيْسَ لَهُمْ طَعَامٌ إِلَّا ضَرِيعًا. He said إِلَّا مِنْ ضَرِيعًا. The lahum illustrates that they'll actually be going looking for food for themselves. They'll have to go look around for food. And that their stomachs will force them to look around for food. Now when they're looking around for food, they see this horrible plant. And they have to actually go into that plant and eat it. And as they're trying to go in, what is happening already? They're not being served that plant. They have to min dariya. They have to go from it and get it from there. So they're actually being tortured by even the contact of the plant. Not to mention the fact that Allah says la tusminu. It doesn't add to your fat. In other words, it doesn't have any nutrition for your body. None whatsoever. It's not nutrition at all. Wala yughni min ju'. And worst even, first of all, it's not nutritious. And that's not so bad for the kafir, because even nowadays we eat a lot of things that aren't nutritious. Right? People consume things that are not nutritious and say, what's the big deal? I can have not nutritious things. But Allah says one thing further. He says, وَلَا يُغْنِي مِنْ جُوعٍ. And it will not make them free of need from hunger. It will not relieve them from feeling the need to feed themselves. In other words, they'll keep eating and keep eating and keep eating. And already we learned that they went after the food out of desperation. And now, when you finish eating, before your order comes at the restaurant, you're sitting there, when's it coming, man? I've been here for 10 minutes. I'm going to tear this plate up. When you're done eating, you say, oh, I think I ate too much. I can't even look at it anymore. Just pack it up for me, right? That happens. But imagine these people, they're eating the worst kind of food. The worst. It's not even food. The two things that food is supposed to do is first, it should taste like something. It should add to somehow it benefits your body. And then it relieves your hunger. The two essential functions of food. None of them are being provided by this dariya. And can they still stop? They still keep on going. When you taste something disgusting, what do? What's your first natural reaction? Ugh. You spit it out of your mouth, or you say, no more thanks. It's great, but I just have a bad stomach right now. Or you make an excuse. You don't want to eat anymore. But these kuffar are being made to eat over and over and over again, adding further to their humiliation.